As someone who makes videos for people who are looking to buy a home, I get repeated questions a lot, and those change throughout the time. So like when I first started, a lot of the questions were like, hey, should I go conventional or FHA? How does down payment assistance work? Stuff like that. But in the last, I want to say 6 to 12 months, I have received this question throughout many forms of communication, email, phone calls, texts, that I figured it's time to actually address the elephant in the room and talk about this. The best way I've seen it summarized is a recent comment by a viewer that we'll read on screen now. This comes from Chaos Jinx Theory, who says, we're currently aiming to start the process of looking into buying a house and shopping around for lenders and realtors. I like to say between my husband and I, our financial maturity is at a point where we thoroughly understand the pros and cons of home buying and home ownership experience. I think the crossroad we find ourselves is at, even with us having marked off all the pieces that are lined up, credit score, credit cards paid off, savings pool being big enough, down payment and emergency fund. We're at the point where we're just a little too afraid to make the jump along the additional thought looming over us. Always summing up to, is it a legitimate gut feeling to just not go ahead and buy a house? But what's to say it never gets better and the rates and prices just continue to rise? So this video is dedicated to everybody out there who finds themselves in a position where they're pretty good. They have their savings, they have their credit score pretty decent, and everything is just lining up perfectly, but there's just something that's preventing them from moving forward. First, I want to give you guys a caveat. If you ask this question to anybody who benefits from you purchasing a house, this means a real estate agent, a broker, an inspection, a lender, an insurance agent, an investor, whatever you can think of, if they benefit from you in some way, meaning that you purchasing a house gives them some kind of financial incentive, they're going to give you probably one of two answers. Either yes or yes later. Like maybe not right now, but yes later. But it goes the other way too. There's a lot of channels out there, a lot of people who are in the social media space who like to talk constantly about the negatives of buying a house and how the housing market's going to crash and how terrible of a time it is. Those people make a lot of ad revenue off you clicking on those videos and watching videos. So everybody has something to gain from either way. I just want you guys to have a filter whenever you're watching a video like the one you're watching right now or down the road. Someone always has somewhere they want to lead you. So I just want to be aware of that. And the best thing I can do to protect you, even for myself, is bring that up to attention so that way you are aware. Now here's where we're going to be. We're going to do this very logically. I'm going to ask you a question, and if the answer is yes, then we can move on to the next one. If the answer is no, stop the video and come watch my channel when you're ready to buy again. Go start a hobby. You wanted to start crocheting recently. Go pick that up again. You need to go sort your Magic collection or your Pokemon collection. Go do that. Go do something and get your brain out of this mindset where you're looking to buy a home. You don't need this on your algorithm. You don't need this in your headspace. Go and be productive. We all have about 60 to 80 years on this world. Go enjoy it. You stressing out and having anxiety over this is not helping anybody, okay? So let's continue. The first question to ask yourself is there any kind of major life event happening that's going to make you move in the next 0 to 6 months? Hopefully it's not 0 to 6. Hopefully it's like 3 to 6, and you're not giving yourself only 1 to 2 months to make a life decision. Okay. Now this can mean a few things. Your lease is going to expire. There's a wedding coming up where you and your significant other are going to be moving into somewhere. Your parents are finally kicking you out. There's something happening that is triggering a move where you're going to be moving from one shelter to the other shelter. If the answer is no, your lease isn't up until a year from now, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months from now. Let's take a breather. You don't have to make a major life decision right now. Continue to work on your financial health. If you are between 3 to 6 months, you need to seriously start considering if you're ready to move, because you have a good 2 to 3 months to work on whatever you need to work on, adjust some things, and we'll move on the list essentially. But that's going to be your first initialing point. You don't have to worry about whether it's a good time to buy. I just realized I'm having like a super serious video here, and I have my freaking Bella "Where the hell have you been, Loca" shirt on. Should I go change? No, we're gonna leave the shirt on. The next question to ask yourself is this: how long are you planning on living in your next home for? This is gonna require you to kind of sit back and try to play chess with your life, which is always scary because we can make plans and they can always change, but you want to give your best guess on how your life is going to turn out. Now, here's the thing. When you ask yourself some questions, and you realize that, well, this house might only serve me for less than at least 5 years, then maybe you should not consider buying. If your plans include a 0 to 5 year time frame where you probably will have to move again, maybe it's not a good idea to secure yourself into a mortgage where you're going to be locked in. Now, let's give some examples here, and we're going to use me from my past, okay? So my wife and I got married in the early 2010s. We had our first child in 2014. We had our second child in 2017, and we had our third child in 2022. The market was completely different. I don't even want to bring up the numbers because you guys are going to throw your phone at me, or if you're watching me on your phone, you're going to throw your phone. But let's just say the market is the way it is right now, okay? So it's 2014, and at this moment, we have 2 people living with us. We have me, we have my wife, and we have our baby, number 1, that's coming later that year. If we buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath at this point, I think it would serve its purpose, right? So 1 bedroom is going to be taken up by us, 1 is going to be taken up by the baby, the third one will be like an office situation or like a game room. During 2014, I was playing Destiny 1 a lot, and this was a perfect situation for me. Once again, we're assuming the market's the way it is right now. We ended up having our next BB in 2017. In this case, it still works. We have 3 bedrooms. 1 of them is going to be ours. 1 of them is going to be baby number 1. And baby number 2 is going to take up my office, and I no longer have my own throne or game room to play my video games. So we're still technically good in that 3-year period. Our next baby didn't come until 2022. Technically, we still would have been fine during that time. We had enough room, and maybe I was a little tight, but I could make it work, right? I can make do. So that's going to be, 5 years that we made the 3-bedroom work. By 2022, when baby number 3 came, we have officially outgrown the house. So in total, that was 8 years that we made this one house work. Now, I would say, as someone who has raised kids now, I probably outgrew the house somewhere around here. Because once baby number 1 is no longer baby and they're already a full-size toddler or small child, they need their space. And their bedrooms works, I guess, to some degree. But like having an extra room or office area or den area for them to have their little playroom area does definitely help. So maybe I would say I probably outgrew it around 2020. That would be like 6 years. A 3-bedroom in 2014 would work for my family's needs. Now, here's the thing. I've had this situation happen many times before. I'm dealing with a family who has dad, mom, and 2 kids, and they're all the same size. It's an interesting family. I don't know. I'm just terrible drawing again. So if they're buying a house in 2025 and they're buying a 3-bedroom, they are already moving in at max capacity. A 3-bedroom is going to be max capacity. Now, here's the thing. If they're at the point where they're like, you know what, we're pretty good with kids, we don't want to have another kid anytime soon, then that works for them. They can stay in this house as long as they need to. Let's say 5 years plus, they're not having any other kids, they're good. Or on top of that, they could say, you know what, this is our first house, and we're intending on keeping this house as a second home that we can rent it out to family, or we can turn it into some kind of, oh, somebody subscribed. Sorry, this is also my streaming setup, so that's why you saw that. So we're going to hold on to this. By 2030, both of us are going to be working now. We'll probably be able to qualify for a much bigger house. So let's say 2030, we're going to then move into the 4-bedroom house or the 5-bedroom house and then move on from there. So if you are making future plans, those future plans include holding on to the house you have, not using it as a potential equity source. And secondly, there's some kind of major life work change that's happening in the next 5 years that is like somewhat solid. Either one person getting a giant promotion or a second person being able to go back to work, or there's something that's happening meaningfully that's going to increase that income. So asking yourself how long you're going to be living in a house for is not just this cute question to kind of sit back with your husband and wife and just go over, hey, what's our life going to look like? It's so you can make some meaningful plans here. And if those plans truly include we're only going to have this house for 2 or 3 years and then sell it, which, believe it or not, a lot of people have that idea, then perhaps it's not the best time for you to lock yourself into a mortgage. Now, I know when you buy a house, it's a 30-year mortgage for like a majority of people. Don't be like those people that are going to, I'll sell this house in 2 years, okay? Look at it like this. this is going to be a 10-year commitment for me. And if you are ready to take on that 10-year commitment, then it works. If you're in a family that's growing and you can see yourself outgrowing that house, well, then here's the thing. You're going to be holding on to it for that 10-year commitment. It means you're going to turn into some kind of rental, or maybe if it's not that profitable, at least the mortgage is being paid, or maybe you're going to have your brother or your sister move in there or pay the bills or whatever, like whatever. You're going to hold on to it for 10 years. And when you move to your second house, there's a way to do it where you can rent out your first house and then not the entire payments used against you to qualify for the second house. So you can hold on to that house. You're telling yourself, or you're telling your brain, I'm holding on to this house for long term. I'm not going to be one of those people that sell every 3 to 5 years. Because guess what? I was in that terrible habit. My first house we bought in 2014. We bought it before 2014. We would sell our house every 3 years because A, I'm a real estate agent, so it's easy for me to do that. And B, we never got into the habit of saving. We just would, okay, time to buy another house. We don't really have our down payment, but we have $40,000 to $50,000 of equity. Let's sell, pull the, get that equity, use it as a down payment for the next one. Imagine if I would have had better habits and saved my money much better. I would have been able to hold on to each house, move on, and now would have had 3 or 4 houses. Learn from my mistakes. Don't just assume that you're going to be moving every 3 to 4 years. Look at your house in 5 to 10 year commitments. Here's the last last question to ask yourself. What were to happen if a year after you close, you lost half of the value of the house? Now, I know you're probably like rolling your eyes. You're like, oh my God, what are we doing here? Just trust me on this. I've done this every single time with people that are just freaking out about the market, and every single time they've gotten clarity out of the situation. So I want you to do this exercise with me. Close your eyes. Are they closed? Okay. You're trusting me now, right? You're not looking at the screen? Okay. Good. I want you to envision this. You get the keys to your house, and so far you've had a good experience. House is in a good neighborhood. House is the price that you wanted, and you're thinking about that price right now in your head. You probably have an idea of that already. And you seem pretty content and happy. Monthly payment, you can afford it. Everything is good. 6 months have passed, and you're starting to notice a lot more for sale signs in your neighborhood. You're walking around, walking your dog, walking your cat, whatever you're walking, and you see more for sale signs. So you pull out your Zillow app, and you're noticing that your neighbors are starting to sell their house, and they're not selling. And even one of them sold $30,000, $40,000 less than what you bought yours for. So you don't panic, you take a deep breath, everything's gonna be fine. 6 months pass again, and now you're checking Zillow and you see that a neighbor of yours sold their house that's very similar to yours for half of the price that you bought yours for. You sit back in your couch or your desk and you realize, holy crap, I am at least half underwater on my house. Open your eyes. So you're probably panicked. You're one of those suckers. You're one of those suckers that bought too high, and everybody made money off of you, but now your house is selling for half. So you're completely screwed. You're in a terrible spot. You're okay, stop. Let's stop there and let's not cycle. Let's think about this logically. Yes, if you were to sell your house a year later, you would have to pay half of the price that you paid for it back. It would be a terrible spot. But here is the reality. You are only at a loss when you choose to sell your house. Stop and ask yourself, are you selling your house? No, it's been a year. You told yourself that you're not selling your house for the next 10 plus years, 5 plus years, right? So you're not selling it, so it doesn't really affect you then and there. And secondly, you bought with your monthly payment in mind, which is the one thing I've been teaching you with all my videos. Did you buy with your monthly payment in a good spot? You did. So congrats. Yeah, you are in a good spot. You purchased it. That monthly payment's on a fixed interest rate. You have employment. You can afford the monthly payment. So yes, people are going to be buying houses in your neighborhood at a significantly cheaper number, and their monthly payments are going to be much better. But you, as of right now, are okay. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 9 years, you living in that house. But I'll tell you what, if houses drop that much, like 50%, I can tell you there's going to be a crap load of people buying now, because everybody that couldn't afford is going to be able to afford now. So that's not going to stay there very long. So it's going to start climbing up slowly back up and up. Eventually, way down the road, when you're finally ready to sell, you don't know what position you're going to be in. Not only have you been making monthly payments on your house, but who knows what's going to happen with the values. So then after all that exercise, I asked you this question. How would you feel if you lost half of this value after a year. If you still feel like, oh man, I would completely hate myself. It was such a stupid decision to buy a house. I should have just rented. Then you're still looking at your house as an investment and you're not ready to buy, because you are still looking at it as like a stock that you're buying, or a freaking 401k or savings account you're buying. Honestly, you're better off using the down payment, $10,000, $20,000, and put that in the stock market, because that's where you're looking at it like, and you can have fun looking at that daily, seeing if it goes up or down. The people that are buying because they need shelter, they're in a good financial spot, and they have a strong sense to own where they live. And I've talked about this many times in the past, and I know like people that have watched my videos know, oh, here he goes again. They have this strong need to own. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to develop, but they just want to own where they live. They want to stake their flag on the freaking dirt and say, this is my home and this is where I'm going to be in for the long term. I'm sure there's other ways to invest in houses. I know there's people are making money all the time in homes, but if this isn't the path for you, then don't own. That's okay. If you're renting year to year, you can spend that money. And people always say you're throwing your money away renting. You're not. You're still paying a service for you to live in. You have security and shelter for at least a 12-month period. You're not throwing your money away. You have the beautiful ability to be able to move into somewhere else or be able to back out. That's honestly just something realtors tell you to try to help you buy. Like, don't worry about that. If you want to rent year to year and continue to invest your money in things that are more controllable, then I've met many homeowners that are miserable. I've met many renters that are miserable. I've met many homeowners that are happy. I've met many renters that are happy. There is no specific class of like, oh, once you're a homeowner, you're on this other level. No, dude. It's just people living their life. And if you're not in that position, then that's okay. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. Go live your life. Maybe you'll eventually experience something that triggers that. Or like, oh shoot, I'm kind of sick of moving year to year, or I had a bad experience with the landlord, or now I want to kind of just stop dealing with that. Then you found your thing. And to those people like, well, yeah, man, but if you would have just bought now, you would have been able to sell it 20 years later and make $100,000. Yeah, and if I would have kept my freaking Charizard and Blastoise that I pulled in a pack when I was freaking a dumbass 9-year-old, I would have had freaking cards that are worth so much money right now. And if my grandma had nuts, she'd be my grandpa. So what? What if, like, okay, if this then that, oh, who gives a crap? Okay. We can come up with so many scenarios. If we would have just done this, then this, if we would have just done this, then this. Stop letting people manipulate you into buying sooner than you're ready. If you're not ready, follow these steps and wait until you're ready. And if you're never ready, then that's okay. You never want to take the risk and gamble, because it is kind of a gamble that it's going to pay off down the road. Then me saying that, I'm saying that as an investment. Like, you need to not look at your house as an investment. And even I struggle with that sometimes. We all need to work towards being financially independent and having healthy savings and being in control of our lives, right? And some of us are going to do it being homeowners, and some of us are not, and that's going to be okay. And whatever ship you are, I hope that this video helped you at least come to terms that what you're going through is okay, and whether you're working towards homeownership or you're not, that's okay. It's not that great as people make it seem. It's a lot of work, but for some of us, it's very satisfying and gratifying work. Okay? That's it. And now time for me to sell my soul. If you're looking to buy, or you know anyone looking to buy or sell in the Phoenix, Arizona area, I make a living off helping people buy and sell. So I would appreciate if you guys think of me. I also have a great agent referral network down below and a bunch of cool resources for you to help you on your home buying journey. Cool. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Have a blessed day.